There we are. Hey guys, Ninja Body Whisperer here. How's it going? Just getting ready for today. So today I did what I said I was going to do as far as the new 23-day challenge. So I did day 1, day 2, didn't do day 3, didn't do day 4, didn't do day 5. I took a 3-day break, hanging out with a friend. What's that? Oh. So I didn't do it, but the whole thing of this is, it's not about, okay, you've missed a day. Remember what we talked about? It's like, so if you go and the only way that you can gauge success is if you do it every single day, or never fail, never screw up, never mess up on your diet, never mess up on your workout. Like, no one does that. There's very, very, very few. The only person I've ever known who probably got as close to that as he could, that I've heard of, is someone like Dorian Yates, bodybuilder from the 90s. That guy was basically a robot, but he wasn't living. He even talks about it. 13 years, he went to bed at the exact same time. He never went to a movie, never had popcorn, anything that was on his diet or this thing, that's all he did for 13 years. But he was also he gave up a lot to become 6-time Mr. Olympia. So with that said, it's not about doing every workout, it's about consistency over time, making a choice, doing something simple. First 30 days, what did I do? I did just 12 minutes for 30 days. Then I got sick. So then I could have quit at that point, but when I started to feel better, then I knew exactly, I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back in. So I decided to do a 7-day challenge, did that 7 days. Then I decided to extend it into another 30 days, so that's why I'm calling this 1, 2, 3, now this is 4, 5, 6, this is day 7 of 23. And I'm still doing what I found works for me, which is the 10 movements, so I'm gonna do those right now. I need to grab my other phone to do the timer. So I have my little, as I've told you, we have the Gym Boss timer. We're gonna do the first round of the Spartacus workout, and I'm just gonna jump right into it. So let's get that rolling. Okay, first one is just bent over stretch. Because I've done the stairs, I just did the stairs and I just did pull-ups, so I just wanna ease into this. Remember, starting with the head, dropping down the spine, rolling. Every vertebra, get down to the bottom. Take a deep breath. You can stretch a little bit, you can paddle the feet out, back and forth. Put the right hand on the left elbow, left hand on the right elbow, and sway from side to side. Good. You can have the knees slightly bent, and you can kind of move between making them straight to bent. You can grab the backs of your legs, give yourself a pull down. But if you're only up to here, just do that. If you're able to put your hands on the ground, great. If not, just do what you can do today. Shake the head yes, nod the head no. Relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders. Then we're going to start rolling back up the spine, slowly vertebra by vertebra. Getting up to the top, shoulders come into place, head comes into place if you need to. All right, now we're on break, 15 seconds. Take a second. After doing the stairs, I always get a little bit lightheaded doing that. So just take your time, do what you need to do. So now we're going to jump down to T push-ups. We've done these before. I'm going to do 2 in between. That's it. And take your time with this, whatever you can do. If you're doing push-ups, if you have to be on your knees, do that. If this is a little bit tough, you can always modify and drop down into having one knee on the ground. Just take your time, see what you can do. Ultimately, this is the movement you're trying to do. You don't have to do a certain number, it's just doing them for the whole minute. And it builds up. There we go. There we are. Cool. Taking a break. Next one, we're gonna do twist. This is an important one. So find a distance that's, you know, comfortable for you, a little bit wider than the hips. Twisting. And now this movement is something that we don't do as much, having done, we sit at our desks, our spines aren't being used. I mean, think about back in the day, if you were a farmer, you would have been cutting the grass. You would have been throwing hay bales, picking them up, throwing them, using your knee, getting in there. Those movements created coordination. And we're not getting this as much anymore. Baseball players, think about it. These guys use its hips. So that power comes from their hips. And we don't move our hips as much as we used to. So this is just waking that up. Soccer, I mean, every soccer player's kicking. You know, they kick, they want to get that hip rotation in there. Discus throwers, I mean, it's all about throwing it. So take a break. It's good. All right, coming down to the end. Actually, I'm gonna come down this way. You can still see me, yep. I'm gonna do the inchworm. I'm gonna hold it for about 10. And coming back up. I made it a little tougher for myself, being this close to the wall. I would advise, if this is something new to you, don't be this close to a wall. Good. And coming up. The reason I've chosen all of these different movements is it's just a nice, after doing the pull-ups, the stairs, I don't really need to do as much leg stuff and back stuff, so most everything else is core, spine, chest, bicep, tricep. Okay, we're in break. All right, next one. Get down into whatever you can do for a squat. I like this. And wherever you're at, remember, if you can't get all the way down into a squat, get down to it as close as you can. You can also grab a pole. If you have a pole and you can use that to kind of leverage yourself back, grab onto something. If this is all you can get down to, just stay in that until and then if you have to come up, come up. But if you can go all the way down, it's really about Achilles, it's calf flexibility. And the reason Westerners, we can't do it is we just don't, typically, most people don't continue to do it. Whereas in more Asian cultures, they tend to do this most of their life. So they keep that flexibility going from when they're a kid. So watch a kid, they just drop down into it so easy. This is how they play. Good, and take a break. Hands on the ground, coming up, and take your time. Rolling up, breathe. All right, now we're gonna go to downward dog. Here we go. So we're going down into that upper, you'll go into a high plank, dropping down, and then we're gonna go into downward dog. Paddle the feet out. Really feel that stretch in the calves after you did after you just did squat. Stretching out those hamstrings. And we're just gonna come down into a dropping down on the floor, doing a little tiny back bend. Hands off the ground, feet off the ground, just to kind of have the opposite. And put those back on, and coming back up into downward dog. We'll finish this out. And 3, 2, 1. And there we can drop down. Great. Now we're going to do Cobra to do the opposite of that. All right, getting back into that high plank, dropping down just a couple inches off the ground. Just feel that, play around with that, and then we're gonna drop the body onto the ground, raising the back up, lifting the arms off, lifting the feet off. Feel that in the lower back, feet down, hands up. I'll do a little bit higher, and finally into a full back bend. And we're gonna just drop down into a downward dog to do the opposite movement of that. Again, if you don't want to do these 10 movements, I'm just doing these as an example. Find 10 movements that you want to work on and just do those for the 10 1-minute intervals. I've just found that these ones, if I do these along with the stairs and the pull-ups, and that's it for the downward, for the Cobra, I just find this to be a nice mix of everything. All right, now I need my TheraBand. Is that my... Oh yeah. There you go. All right, so we're gonna be doing TheraBand, getting this part of your back, that part where you're up here doing computer stuff. This is just gonna work that out. I get about 30 in, and then it starts to burn, and so then I take a break. And I take that break, stretch out the chest, up and over. Good. Do a couple of those. Really breathe into that open chest. Relax those pecs, let them stretch out, and we'll do a couple more before the time runs out. Burning. 3, 2, 1, and break. All right, now we're gonna get our butts, and we're gonna do a little V-sit. All right, so on the back, and we're gonna go up into 3, 2, 1, and we're going into kind of have a pointed toe. Think about engaging, as they call it, as they say in Pilates, you have your powerhouse, and balancing, and with your hands up in the air, it feels different. Try and keep it up there, keep that balance going. And then we're gonna go back into a bowl, kind of a banana shape. Hold that, hold that, hold that, and relax. Relax in the ground, and then we're gonna stretch, stretch, stretch. Feet and hands out, stretch, stretch, feet, hands, stretch, and we're gonna come back up to the banana. Hold, 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 and back up. And V-sit. Try different hand positions. Let's check your balance. And back out. And we're gonna drop down to that banana again. And straight, straight, stretch, 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 and it's time. And one last thing. I'm gonna do shoulder shrugs. I don't know if this one's gonna be, I'm gonna break this. All right, so we're gonna do this last one. I usually just use this and just do some resistive shoulder shrugs. I'm gonna get a little more resistance by going closer down. Ooh. There we go. There's no real number to go for, just go for the burn. Let's go for a little bit of a burn. I'm gonna just grab this up and then do some kind of more in the front. Oops. You can also drop that, and you can just do some small, if you don't have a TheraBand, do some small circles, moving into big circles, into bigger circles, and do the opposite way. small, big, bigger. Cool, that's it. All right, we're done. So that's the 10 minutes, 12 if you take the breaks. And then right now I'm gonna just do a quick like 5-minute session on rolling out my hips, my lower back, kind of like I do every time. So remember, I think I'm day 6 or 7 of 23, 2 doing pull-ups, try and do anywhere from 20 to 40 a day, do the 2 flights of stairs, do 10 minutes of movement, and then my rolling out, all that added together is less than an hour, probably 40 minutes or so when you add it all together. So keep moving, people. Take care.